I don't think there is a single person on this earth who wants to be insecure, who wants to be fearful, who wants to not accomplish anything and not do anything due to fear. But so many people do. So many people don't live out the lives that they want. So many people don't face their fears. So many people don't chase new experiences and really try to reach for the things that they want in life. And I'm convinced it's because we don't actually know how to. We don't know the tools and the systems, and we don't know a really strategic way in order to do it. And that actually increases our fear and decreases the likelihood and the probability that you're actually going to do it. So what I intend on doing in this video is walking you through a systematic, strategic, evidence-based method to face your fears. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bianca. I'm a licensed mental health counselor who specializes in cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm also the co-host and co-founder of the Evolve Ventures podcast and the Evolve Ventures business. For those of you who don't know what cognitive behavioral therapy is, it is one of the most researched, evidence-based, effective therapy models that really actually provides people with results and with the tangible things that they want in life. So there's the aspects of it that is talk therapy, like the traditional therapy that you would do, but it also has so many other components to it, like more behavior strategies, which is where the B in CBT comes and what we're going to be diving into today. I'm somebody that was deeply, deeply insecure. I couldn't do anything because I was so scared. I was scared to put myself out there. I was terrified of being rejected. I was terrified of not being loved. And so I didn't actually challenge myself. I didn't put myself in the arena to go do things because there wasn't a chance in hell that I was going to let myself risk being embarrassed or being humiliated or failing. Failure to me was an absolute no. And when I finally learned how to overcome that through the tool that I'm going to be walking all of us through, and I'm going to link the PDF below so you can download it too and so that you can follow along with it. But when I finally learned how to do this and when I actually implemented it, it made all of the differences in my life because I was actually able to do these things that I wanted, to go chase my fears, to not be afraid, and to actually have a systematic tool and a process that I could then follow that actually worked and that actually got me results. And I've seen with clients, that's the thing that they need more than anything else. They just want a plan. They want to know that there's a step-by-step system that they can follow. And if they follow the system, they'll get the results that they want. Most people are tactical like that, to where if you just give them a step-by-step and you give them guidance, they'll be able to do it. So if this is something you want to try on your own, that's awesome. I would also recommend hiring a therapist or a coach or somebody that can help you navigate this. But let's dive into this actual tool. So this is called the Behavioral Experiment Worksheet, and it's a layered, I'm looking at it on my left. It's a layered tool, and it's one of the tools that I use very frequently in sessions. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to understand what are the fears and what are the beliefs that you have that make it hard for you to actually be able to do things. So one of my biggest core beliefs previously was I'm not capable. I'm not capable of doing things, and I'm gonna fall flat on my face and end up being humiliated. And that belief was at 100%. So for every single one of you, what is the belief that has made it hard for you to face your fears, to put yourself out there, and to challenge yourself to do things? Now, second, once you've got that done, number 2, what is a new core belief that would be helpful to get you through this? It doesn't mean that you fully believe it right now. It doesn't mean that you've adopted this belief, but what is the belief that you want to have? So the belief for me that I wanted to have was that I'm capable of doing hard things. I wanted to be somebody that when I set my mind to something, I could do it and nothing was going to get in my way. And so I had a 0% believability for that before, but in doing these experiments, that belief over time increased significantly, and it's the only reason why I am where I am today. I went from a not confident, insecure, broken little girl to this flourishing businesswoman and therapist and speaker and podcaster now, and this is the sole reason why I was able to do that. The next thing that you want to do is look for specific thoughts and behaviors that are associated with your new belief. If you were to be the type of person that you want to be from doing something like this, whatever this experiment is that you're going to do, whatever that fear-chasing activity is that you are about to do, what are the beliefs, what are the thoughts, what are the actions that that type of person would have? So for me, if I had the belief that I'm someone who can do hard things, well, the behaviors are, I would put myself out there. I would make an effort. I would try. I would risk things. The thoughts that I would have in correspondence with that are, even if I fail now, I'll be able to do it eventually. Or failure doesn't mean I am a failure. So what are the thoughts and the actions associated with the type of person with that type of belief that you want to become? When you do things like this, it really lays the groundwork in. And this is what a lot of people are talking about when they're talking about motivation, that I just need to be motivated before I do something. The greatest motivation for most people is that internal motivation of being more capable, of being the type of person that they want to be and knowing that it's actually possible for them. If you actually believe that if you take effort, something will be possible for you, there's a much higher probability of you actually going and doing that thing. Like if I were to tell you that if you shoot 10,000 shots, you'll be as good as Kobe Bryant, you'd be like, obviously, no doubt. I'll go do it right now. It's because you have that awareness that doing this is going to get me the thing that I want. This allows you to do that. So what are the thoughts and what are the beliefs of the type and the behaviors of being that type of person with that type of belief? Once you have that ingrained, it actually helps you believe that becoming that type of person and chasing your fears is possible. So, okay, now we're going to actually get into strategy of doing that thing. So what's something that you know you're fearful about? What is something that you know you're scared to do? For me, it used to be recording videos. I was terrified. I'll give you a little bit of a story. So I have a mentor and a coach that I've been working with for a very long time. And he changed my world. I'm so thankful for him. And there was a day when we were at the gym and we were walking out of the gym and I said, Alan, I want to be a speaker. I want to be a really, really good speaker. How would I go about doing that? And he basically gave me a very simple task to do. He said, B, if you want to be a good speaker, you need to speak more. Duh. How do I actually go about doing that? And what he had me do was a small step. This is where most people fail. They want to take this grand leap. He said, no. You're going to do something small. All I want you to do is record a small video of yourself every single day. He's like, you don't have to send it. You don't have to publish it anywhere. You don't even need to send it to me, but just record it. And I was like, okay, I can do that. A scared shitless, but I still did it. Then after I got good at that, he said, okay, now I actually want you to send it to me. And I said, I don't know about that. I don't want you to see how bad I am at this. And he said, B, I promise it's not going to be that bad, and you're going to eventually get better at this. And you'll thank me later. So I'm like, all right, I trust you. So then I did. And then time passed, and then he said, okay, now what you're going to do is you're actually going to post it. And I was like, you can go to hell. And he's like, no, B, I promise it's going to be okay. Post it on your Instagram. And eventually I got really good at posting videos on my stories and on my Instagram. And it's actually how I attracted my first set of clients, because I used to be a fitness coach. I attracted my first batch of clients by doing that because I stopped being afraid to post content. I wasn't afraid to speak anymore, and people were attracted to the energy that I was putting out. I faced my fear. So for every single one of you, what is a fear that you have that you want to be able to overcome? What is something that you want to achieve that facing your fear is going to allow you to do? And we're just going to look for something small to start off with. What's the larger goal, and then what's the first step that you can take in accordance with that? So if you want to be a writer, the first step would be writing 2 sentences per day. If you wanted to be a basketball player, maybe the first step is looking for a coach or looking for teams in your area that are having tryouts. So what is that first thing that you can do to put yourself out there to face your fear? Now this next step is critical because this is where most people fail, and this is what causes most people to flop. We don't think about what might get in the way of us actually taking charge. We try to boost ourselves with like motivational talks, and we hype ourselves up and we convince ourselves that we're going to do it. And then the time comes where we're actually going to do it, and we end up failing because our limiting beliefs, our negative internal dialogue, which I've already done a video on, and just the fear that we end up having completely gets in the way. It disrupts us, and then we don't end up doing the things that we want to do. So the next step is absolutely critical. What we want to do is we want to understand every single barrier, every single obstacle, every single problem that could potentially arise that would make you not go do the thing. So for me, with recording videos, the thing that was getting in the way, the problematic thought that would get in the way is I'm going to look so stupid. Nobody's going to want to see videos of me. It was a lot of really negative internal dialogue. And so when I was able to understand that my own negative internal dialogue was going to be the barrier to me sending these videos and to making these videos, the next step is creating a coping and a problem-solving strategy. The problem for me was my own thoughts. And so what I did was I wrote that down and I said, I am likely to have really negative thoughts. That's the problem. What's the solution? I wrote out a paragraph to myself in advance. And I would actually read that paragraph before I recorded any single video. And it was something that I wrote to myself. I don't even remember what it says at this point, but it was something along the lines of, I know you're scared. I know you're having a lot of negative thoughts, but it's going to be okay. Something like that. It was a little bit longer than that, but it was something like that. And it addressed the fears that I had, that I'm going to be judged, I'm going to be ridiculed, people are going to make fun of me, I'm going to have a really bad experience. So I identified the problem and I came up with a plan to strategize. So if someone, let's say their biggest fear was, let's say it was the writing scenario, and their biggest fear was, I struggle to write, or I'm never going to be able to be a good writer. You could do that similar thing to yourself. You can say something to yourself along the lines of, I don't have to save these. I can delete them and nobody will see them after. These are just for me. So it gives you a sense of certainty that nobody's going to see this and you're not going to embarrass yourself. Or let's say the thing that you fear is going up to people. If you fear going up to people, like people have with social anxiety, and the thing that you're terrified of is being rejected, you can cope with that by calming your nervous system down, by doing some deep breathing, having someone go with you. There's a bunch of different tools that you can utilize. But again, the issue is most of us don't catch the problem. We go into the situation, the problem happens, and then we react to it rather than being proactive about it and saying, okay, what is likely to happen when I try to go do this? And then problem solving by reverse engineering it by saying, okay, I'm going to go do this. This actually might happen. So how can I make a game plan to do that? Doing that has gotten me to overcome more fears than I can even count, because anticipating problems that might occur and problem solving them in advance built up my confidence so much, because I could see what the fears were that were getting in my way and I could actively challenge them. I could say, that's not true, or I could work on the limiting beliefs that were coming up, or I could get someone to give me validation if I was having a lot of insecurities and if I wasn't believing in myself. This is why most people don't chase their fear, because they think that it's going to be fine, or they're in so much pain and they just want to get out of it and they just want to go take action, but they're not actually thoughtful or strategic about it. So identify any problems that might get in the way and list out every solution that you can think of for that problem. The next step is, how likely is it you're actually going to attempt this? If it's anything less than 75, then there's more problems and obstacles that you need to go back on and reflect, because there's things that are getting in your way that are making you have a low probability of actually doing it. The next step is going and doing the experiment, actually taking that leap of faith and going and doing that thing. And then lastly, what you want to do is you want to do an analysis of the experiment. So you're going to ask yourself the question, what was the outcome? What happened? What thoughts did I have? Did my problems and obstacles and my fears actually come up? And how did I handle it? When you do that and when you self-assign that to yourself, that holy shit, I actually did it, number one, that self-assigning gives you a sense of confidence, because even if it didn't go the way you wanted it to, you still took that action. You still did the step. You still did the thing. And that in and of itself is amazing, because you took a first step. Then you analyze what went well, what didn't, and what can I do better next time. I guarantee, if you take these steps, and again, I'm going to link the PDF in the description below. If you try this, if you do this, if you give yourself the chance to try this out and to face your fears, you will get so good at fear chasing. This is how you build more adaptive and empowering core beliefs. This is how you go from insecure to confident. This is how you become the person that you want to be. It's by being strategic, by being intelligent about your fear chasing, and then just consistently doing it. If this is something that you know you cannot do alone, That's okay. I couldn't do it alone at first either. I've had coaches for a really long time in all of the endeavors that I tried going into. And so if this is something that you need help with, please, please, please go to evolveventurestech.com and let's work together. You can book a call with me, a free call. We'll do a consult. If it ends up being that you feel like this is a good fit and you would want to work together, I would love to get to be your guide. But if that's not the step that's right for you right now, then follow the worksheet and send me a DM, Evolve with Bianca on Instagram, and let me know how it goes. Learning to face your fears isn't as scary as you think. If you follow these steps, if you follow this guideline, you will be able to overcome any fear that gets in your way.